Tucson Park and Sell RVs has an excellent selection. We buy, sell, and trade top quality, gently used RVs. No city sales tax. Our RV sales team is professional, licensed, bonded, insured, and helpful. From consignment to storage or RV service, we do it all. Tucson Park and Sell RVs at 6990 East Oldvale Road on Kolb Road, 1 block south of Valencia. Call 574-9344.
From an 18th century romantic drama to an action-packed superhero movie, our entertainment reporter has the scoop on it all.
That's right. Here is Jim Ferguson on two flicks hitting the big screen this weekend, Belle and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, good morning, Sally and Heather. Our Hollywood happening today travels way back to 1769 England with the movie Belle.
Do not be afraid. I am here to take you to a good life, a life that you were born to. I beg you, Uncle, love her as I would were I here, and ensure that she is in receipt of all that is due to her as a child of mine.
Do you have in mind my position?
That is simply impossible.
What is right can never be impossible.
What has she been named?
Dido Belle Lindsay.
She takes your name.
I am not ashamed.
We will call her Dido.
Here's the very beautiful and talented Gugu.
What a wonderful performance in Belle. And I think we're in the setting, one of the settings here at the Kenwood House in London.
The candles and the teapot. I feel very at home.
You ready for some tea?
I certainly am.
Would you agree with me that this is a story that should never be buried in history?
Absolutely. I feel like we've sort of unearthed it, you know. Dido Belle, who I play, and her sister or cousin Elizabeth are depicted in this painting, which is a real painting that was commissioned by Lord Mansfield at the time. And I first heard about the story several years ago when I went to Kenwood House, and I met the producer of the film. And he
was the picture there?
The picture wasn't there. They just had it there at an exhibition to commemorate the abolition of slavery, I think. And then it went back to Scotland, so I missed the picture. But I got the postcard at the gift shop. So that was sort of had to suffice for a long, long time. And to me it was fascinating because I'd never heard of Dido. And I actually, going to drama school, I had lived not very far from Kenwood House, spent a lot of time on Hampstead Heath, and I thought, wow, this is part of our cultural heritage, and no one really knows about her. So for me, it felt like a story that really needed to be told because it was such a refreshing voice and perspective.
Beautiful story.
For dinner.
Why do you not dine with your family ever?
Because that is not correct.
May I present the second of my two nieces, Miss Dido Lindsay?
I find her repulsive.
Papa, how may I be too high in rank to dine with the servants and too low to dine with my family?
Though I understand she is kept under interesting rules, she raises questions. What do you do?
Miranda Richardson stars in Belle as Lady Ashford, a snobby aristocrat trying to arrange a wedding between her son Oliver and Dido. However, a young attorney, John Devaney, played by Sam Reed, may have something to say about that. Here's Miranda Richardson and Sam Reed.
Do you think if you were transported back to that time, you could have changed Lady Ashford's thinking?
I mean, I feel like, as John, I feel like, you know, coming up to head with these characters, you were constantly beating your head up against a brick wall.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what happens is people don't want to question the way that they live because, you know, particularly when they're so privileged.
You didn't dare question it, really.
You
You know.
just leave them.
And Miranda, it's a love story, but would you agree much more?
Well, yes, I hope, but I do think that is one of the beautiful things that people will take away, that, you know, the truth of this couple's story, and that they how lucky that they found each other, how right it feels. Yeah, I mean, it's things we're still debating now. We're coming up against, which is why it's relevant.
I've enabled every rule of convention so that you would know exactly where you belong.
I don't know that I find myself anywhere.
Do you love her?
As though she were created of you and me.
What of your mother?
I know very little of her other than the colour she has given me.
Then at least you know she was beautiful.
You will risk your position for a man without name.
Laws that allow us to diminish the humanity of anybody are not laws.
He speaks a voice for people who do not have one.
If I had your choice, I would choose the man I loved.
There are rules in place which dictate how we live.
You break every rule when it matters enough, Papa. I am the evidence.
Well, directed by Amma Assad, this beautiful historical 18th century romantic film is a story that needs to be told. Besides being a beautiful love story, it deals with provocative questions about race, bias, and justice, combined with a famous trial leading to the end of slavery in England. The sets, the costumes, and music are as good as it gets, plus an all-star cast from the UK led by Gugu. Belle is a film I highly recommend. It's rated PG-13, my grade, a solid A. Also opening today, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starring Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and the comedy Walk of Shame, starring Elizabeth Banks. I'm going to see you right here next Tuesday on The Morning Blend.
Thanks so much, Jim. Now let's get some tips for Mother's Day.